Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Supervisor Kaiser and Supervisor Reynolds.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. First up, the presentation tonight is Kaiser Levin, the Director of Seneca County Community Services, to recognize Sharon Pickney for her service, dedication, helping witnesses, crime victims, investing in Seneca County.
That's a lot. Thank you. Before I ask Sharon to come up, I'm just going to lay a little foundational history on everyone. Sharon Pickney started as the Seneca County employee in June 4th of 1984. Being the history buff that I am, and feeling a little sad that 1984 is considered historical, I decided to give us a little taste of what was going on in 1984. President Ronald Reagan was in the midst of a re-election bid against Walter Mondale, who had announced that Geraldine Ferraro was his running mate. How ironic that, you know, in her inaugural year here, she had a female vice presidential running, and now we have a presidential candidate who's a female. During the Democratic convention, then New York State Governor Mario Cuomo delivered his now famous Tale of Two Cities speech. In Seneca County, Stuart Osowski was the chair of the Board of Supervisors, and the county manager position did not exist. The Seneca County Health Building was just, the first rendition, was just 3 years old, and this building, in which we're honoring Sharon tonight, was still 5 years away from being completed. Movie hits in 1984 included Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cops, Gremlins, The Terminator, and how many times, we had no way of knowing how many times he'd be back. Romancing the Stone, The Karate Kid, Purple Rain, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Footloose, 16 Candles, The Natural, Red Dawn, and my personal favorite, This Is Spinal Tap. Music, Prince, believe it or not, I was shocked he was around at that time, but he let us know what it sounds like when doves cry. Michael Jackson's Wanna Be Starting Something and Thriller were popular. Lionel Richie sang Hello all night long. Tina Turner asked What's Love Got to Do With It. Bruce Springsteen was Dancing in the Dark. Cyndi Lauper sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun time after time. Ray Parker asked, who are you going to call? Oh, nobody said it, I'm surprised. Stevie Wonder said, hey, I just called to say I love you. Huey Lewis saying, I want a new drug, and Chicago saying, you're a hard habit to break. So that kind of gives you an idea. On TV, there were, this really scared me, Night Court, The Cosby Show, Highway to Heaven, Murder, She Wrote, started. Charles in Charge, yikes. Knight Rider, Dynasty, Falcon Crest, Cheers, Family Ties, The A-Team started that year. Hill Street Blues, Remington Steele, Magnum P.I., I'm Sorry, But Yes, The Love Boat was still on. And Late Night with David Letterman was just 2 years old. Sharon, you stayed on the job longer than Letterman, but I'm sorry to say, not as long as Keith Richards. Okay. So Sarah, now that I've got the funny stuff out of the way, I'd like you to come up. And I'm going to read a little bit more about Sharon in particular. Amidst that backdrop, Sharon began her career with Seneca County in June of 1984, and of all places, our probation department. She worked as a probation officer for a little over 4 years and was then promoted to senior probation officer in July of 1988. She continued in that capacity until September of 1994, when she took a small break from Seneca County. She returned to service with Seneca County in October of 1997, but this time in a new capacity as our county's Victim and Witness Program Director within the Seneca County District Attorney's Office. It was in this role as a fierce advocate that we have all known Sharon for the past 18 years. Now, while the program Sharon ran moved from the District Attorney's Office to the Mental Health Department in October of 2003, and her title changed to Coordinator of Victim, Witness, and Domestic Violence Services, what has never changed is Sharon's commitment to those women and men who have been victims of or witnesses to crime. Sharon's special, unwavering commitment to those who have suffered domestic violence is without question and is fueled her tenacity for those tasks ranging from the mundane, such as completing grant applications. And let me tell you, no one has ever been more proactive in completing a grant application than Sharon. 3 months before it was due, I was getting a call. From those mundane activities all the way up to those efforts that have been truly life-changing for many Seneca County residents. Her diligence in making sure every victim had an opportunity to heal is well known by local police, our courts, our district attorney, our mental health and substance abuse programs, our human service department, and the community as a whole. Sharon would leave no stone unturned when looking for resources for her clients, and her commitment and knowledge was recognized by her peers time and time again as they elected her to serve on the New York State Advisory Council, the Crime Victims Board, and in other leadership capacities along the way. Because of her tenacity and perseverance for meeting her clients' needs, and in honor of her dedication to Seneca County, we will be dedicating a space when the Mental Health Department relocates in Sharon's honor for families in need of advocacy and counseling for domestic violence issues. At one point during my work with Sharon, she described her job as helping fellow travelers in this life. I would like to thank Sharon for her commitment to helping her fellow travelers in Seneca County to have safer, more fulfilling, and stronger life journeys. Seneca County is richer for your service, and I wish you Godspeed in your travel into your next life journey. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
I have worked in Seneca County. Most of the time we've been in New York State. Overall, it has been a pleasure. I've enjoyed the people I've worked with. I've enjoyed the various programs. Seneca County will always hold a very special place in my heart. There are a lot of very, very dedicated people in Seneca County that I've had the pleasure of working with. And there's a tremendous number of resources in Seneca County. Sometimes you gotta dig a bit, but you can find the resources. It's time for me to move on into a different phase of my life. I'll be doing more teaching. I'll be doing more with the Board of Elections. I'm probably going to be running for town justice in Yates County. But I really enjoyed working in Seneca County, and I've worked with many of you over the years, and thank you for everything that the county has provided. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. And thank you, Sharon, for your service to Seneca County. We all appreciate it. And I'm sure there's other people out there appreciate you for what you've done for them. Next is petitioners. Jeff Case, Fire Coordinator.
Good evening, everybody. Short and sweet tonight. I'm here for one word, and that's weather. In case you haven't noticed, we are in a severe drought. National Weather Service has put us in a severe drought. The DEC has been monitoring it at a state level, and Director Taylor and I have been monitoring it at the local level. And what I had put on the agenda was when we put out this press release, urging people to use extreme caution when burning anything. So I just wanted to bring it to you guys face to face, take it back to your constituents, pass it through the towns. It is very dry out. Please be very, very careful when you're burning anything. And hopefully we'll get through this dry spell. Unbeknownst to me, when we made this appointment come tonight, I didn't know there was a 100% chance of rain the next day. So it hasn't happened yet, and they've been wrong all summer. So again, that's all I really had. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be free to try to answer them best I can.
So if any supervisor gets caught burning something, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yes, they are.
And I'm glad you told us it's the weather service's fault.
Yeah, I don't know who else to blame. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Well, Jeff, one question. We do have a comment or resolution like this. Is that?
Not at this time.
Okay.
We've talked about it, and to be quite honest, the only thing that's going to prevent is the one person who might burn a brush pile in their backyard. Ag is always exempt, and campfires are exempt, so the likelihood it's going to do much good is not too high.
Yeah, I see a few, gosh, this might have been a month ago, on County House Road, there was a couple fires along a ditch. Evidently, probably cigarettes.
If it's one I think you're referring to, it extended from Route 89 all the way up to northern part of the county.
Well, that's different.
Okay, that's a different one. That was a chicken cooker that was dropping off emblems around all over there.
Yeah, this was a couple small little fires along the ditch.
They could have been cigarettes, yeah.
And then I see down on 414, there's a section there along where a field, like halfway out to the stubble.
I think that was a car that pulled over and actually started that on fire, then that went on.
Things are extremely dry. It doesn't take much to get.
Until I got a resolution, no, that wouldn't help any of that, so. But just, everybody just be very, very careful and pass that along to your towns. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Next is Dutton Andrews, President Thomas Juniors.
Hi, yes, my name is Dutton Andrews. I live at 449 Whiskey Hill Road. My complaint is for several years I've been trying to keep the mowing department out of my yard. I mow the ditch and I mow the other side and it all looks nice. And I wanted to put up a sign because I have a window cleaning business. But every year I have the same problem. They just come through and they cut down all the flowers and everything that we've ever planted in there. Is there some way I can be put on a don't mow list? I've had everyone come down there and I've been given some terrible answers. And this was my next step, is to come here, see if I can be put on a no, just stay out of my yard.
Okay, we'll refer that to the Public Works Committee, and somebody will get back to you.
Because I have tried for about 10 years now, and I've gotten some really bad answers.
Okay,
So,
Thank you.
I can answer one.
sure.
Just for clarification's sake, is this a regular flower bed on a sign, or are these wildflowers that are?
Now these are ditch lilies, elephant grass, hawthorns, and they're great at the driveway and they come out, and everything's mowed. And the same plants are at my neighbors, they don't get mowed. And I've asked the supervisor, I've asked the mower, he's given me his supervisor, and I've gone up the chain, and I've been given some nasty answers. So they'll come here next.
Is that a town road or a county road?
I'm not sure, it's Whiskey Hill.
It's county road. County road, okay. How many feet of frontage do you own?
200.
Like they could.
I would think even when it's not,
He keeps
even
his
when
place
it's mowed, they still drive across it even when it's wet. And then if it's, you know, it just tears everything up, and I can't understand why they would even need to drive it.
I think there should be a law against mowing day roads anyway.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Yes, miss.
I was asked to read a short little letter from one of my constituents, Brian Preston.
Okay,
Would I be allowed to go up and just read it at the podium at this time?
okay, it's fine.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to address the board. I realize my concern with the board tonight will sound trivial, but I'm disappointed that Del Lago is holding its second informational job meeting outside of Seneca County and Clyde, Wayne County. 2 meetings 8 miles apart. I'm just asking, why wasn't the south end of Seneca County a better choice? Romulus, Ovid, Willard, Lodi, Interlaken deserve a presentation much more than Wayne County. Yes, I am being selfish. All Seneca County residents deserve the first opportunity for the best paying jobs Del Lago has to offer. Please remember that all Seneca County residents have skin in the game. It's the Seneca County taxpayers who are subsidizing the Del Lago project with their pilot agreement. I still didn't say it right. What is the board willing to do to help their constituents get the first opportunity for these good paying jobs at Del Lago? After I received the call from Brian, I spoke with Yuri Barris yesterday, August 8th, and he agreed for an informational meeting or presentation to be done down in the south end of Seneca County. So please, you South Seneca guys, kind of let me know where that would be most beneficial to have, and I can reach back out to Yuri, but he was more than happy to come down to your end of the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy, appreciate it. Okay, next I need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 14th and July 12th board meeting.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Walt?
Yes, sir. Whereas the vouchers reviewed by the Finance Assessment and Insurance Committee have gone through the proper auditing procedure and established by the Board of Supervisors. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the vouchers be approved for payment with the exception, with no exception. Thank you.
There's a second on that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, reports of standing committees. Supervisor McGreevy, Public Health.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Health Services Committee met on Tuesday, July 26th. We discussed a number of issues. First issue being the Board of Supervisors authorizing refilling of a public health nurse. The public health nurse has resigned her position effective July 12th, and this position is critical for the provision of services and management of programs provided through the health department. And the vacancy committee had approved the refilling of this position. The committee approved refilling the position as well. The second issue, creation and filling of one service coordinator position in the health department. The committee approved this because one of our contract service providers is no longer able to provide service coordination services for early intervention, and we must provide this service because it is mandated by New York State. There aren't any agencies that are able to provide these services, so we created the position. And due to the urgency, there was a special board meeting on the same day as the committee meeting, July 26th, and a resolution creating the position was passed by the Board of Supervisors. Issue number 3, the Board of Supervisors authorizes and directs the county manager to sign a contract with Clean Harbors Environmental Services, and there is a resolution on tonight's agenda. Issue 4, Board of Supervisors authorizes and directs county manager to sign a service agreement with the S2AY Rural Health Network, or FLPHA membership, and there is also a resolution on tonight's agenda. Lastly, a resolution to adopt Think Differently initiative to assist individuals with special needs and their families. This is a statewide campaign for counties and municipalities to recognize individuals and families living on the autism spectrum and with special needs. The initiative is about promoting awareness and acceptance of all people and advocating for the inclusion of all individuals living on the autism spectrum and with special needs. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you very much, Supervisor McGreevy. Supervisor Davidson, Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got 2 items. At the last committee meeting on July the 26th, we have a resolution on tonight's agenda to amend the Homeland Security 2015 Public Safety Answering Point Grant to relocate the remaining $30,000. And the other situation was the sheriff made a request to refill 2 part-time sheriff deputies recruits. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it. Supervisor Shipley, Indian Affairs.
Thank you, Chairman Westfall. On July 26th, the Indian Affairs Committee, along with the remaining members of the Board of Supervisors, the County Manager Shepard, County Attorney Fisher, Sheriff Luce, District Attorney Porsche, Indian Affairs Advisor Dresser, and members of the Citizens Advisory Committee met with Brian Laudadio from Bond, Seneca & King to discuss a phone call received by Bond, Seneca & King from the law firm of French and Alcott asking the position of Seneca County regarding grant payments in lieu of taxes from the Cayuga Indian Nation Clint Halftown faction. It's important to note that this verbal communication did not include any specifics relative to actual dollar amounts or any timetable schedule from the Cayuga Indians to repay Seneca County all outstanding property and school taxes, which Seneca County has offered to reimburse the affected towns and school districts. The Seneca County taxpayers deserve to be paid the more than $2 million currently owed by the Cayuga Indian Nation for unpaid taxes. We applaud the initiative, but will not discuss any tax payment plans from the Cayuga Indian Nation until their leadership issue is resolved or the foreclosure issue is finally decided by our court system. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Lazaro, two committees, Human Services and Personnel.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Human Services Committee met on Tuesday, July 26, 2016, and opened in good order. And the discussions were: number one, refill one part-time aging services aide for health insurance information counseling, HIICAP, in office for the agent. The Vacancy Committee has approved the refilling of this position. Committee approval to refill part-time aging services aide. No board resolution necessary. So there is no resolution on tonight's agenda. Second agenda item is refill one social welfare examiner, public assistance, food stamps in Department of Human Services. The Vacancy Committee has approved the refilling of this position on 7/14/2016. Committee approval to refill social welfare examiner, and no board resolution necessary. So again, there's no resolution on tonight's agenda. And then number three, the third issue was Board of Supervisors directs the clerk of the board to advertise Office of the Aging public hearings. New York State Rules and Regulations require submission of an annual implementation plan of services for the Seneca County Office of the Aging for the period April 1st, 2017 through March 31st, 2018. There will be two public hearings, September 27, 2016 at 11:30 a.m. in the community room of the Verona Village, Ovid, New York, and September 29, 2016, 11:30 a.m. at the Office for the Aging in Waterloo, New York. Single copies of the proposed area plan or an abstract shall be made available without charge upon request as soon as it is prepared before submission to the New York State Office for the Aging. We closed in good order after that. The Personnel Committee met on Tuesday, July 26, 2016, and we opened in good order. And the first, number one, was the resolution setting salaries of certain individuals at the market rate as provided for the management salary schedule. Beginning in 2007, management employees that had completed 5 years in their current grade and step were moved to the market rate as provided for in the management salary schedule. There are 3 management employees who will have completed 5 years at their current rate and step and should be moved on a salary schedule to the market rate as provided for in the management salary schedule. And they are the Deputy Director of Workforce Development, Employee Benefits Assistant, and Prevention and Treatment Program Director. There is a resolution on tonight's agenda. The Personnel Committee then closed in good order. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you. Next is Supervisor Heisen, Mental Health.
Mr. Chairman, Mental Health Services also met Tuesday night. We had 3 items. The first one was the Mental Health Director updated the committee on the Mental Hygiene Local Services Plan. Second, the Mental Health Director updated the committee on the opiate crisis in Seneca County. Third, he discussed the myths surrounding mental health, illness, and violence. Anybody who's details of the report, and Margaret would.
Thank you. Supervisor Churchill, you don't have planning and development. You want to say anything about environmental affairs?
No, I don't have anything to report. We entered executive session and discussed some strategies with our environmental attorney, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Supervisor Churchill. Supervisor Kelly-Lonzetti, Government Acts.
Thank you, Chairman. The committee authorized the county clerk to refill a position for 1 Department of Motor Vehicle license clerk. The Vacancy Committee had approved this, so there's no board resolution needed. The supervisors support a Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council pursuit of grant funds for the persistence of the George Eastman Museum, located in Rochester, New York. The Museum Board of Trustees is submitting a grant application to Finger Lakes Regional Economic Development Council titled National Historic Landmark Restoration, and has requested support from this Board of Supervisors. It will be tonight on the agenda. The Board of Supervisors addressed communications. There was discussion to formalize, perhaps by creating a policy, on how communications to the Board of Supervisors are filed by the clerk. Decision was to continue as we are. Number 4, Code Department Operations. Discussion regarding recent complaints received regarding Code Department Operations. Peter Brown and Chad Havlin met with the committee and reviewed how Code inspects projects and how the complaint process works. There were 13 formal complaints that were received as of July 26th, and Codes makes best effort to assist the property owner through the process. I would like to ask, though, maybe Peter, each month you could give us a little update on that? Sure. That would be great. Thank you. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Lorenzetti. Okay, next is Supervisor Trout, Public Works.
Public Works met Tuesday, July 26th. Issue 1, the committee authorized refilling of 2 part-time cleaning positions in the Seneca County Facilities Department. Issue 2, the county received a notice of intent for Rochester Genesee Regional Transportation Authority to serve as lead agency for the RTS Seneca Plus Facility Project, the new building they want to build on Thurber Drive where it meets DePronio Drive. No objections were heard from the committee members nor from supervisors present at the meeting. Issue 3, there's a resolution on tonight's agenda authorizing the treasurer to amend the 2016 county highway budget to reflect an increase in CHIPS money. Seneca County received $234,199.35 in CHIPS paid New York funding. Funding is used towards capital improvement by Highway Department. Issue 4, Fleet Management Service bid. The resolution died at the last board meeting by not receiving a majority vote. On August 6th, Saturday, we had a special meeting. Committee voted 3-2 in favor of awarding the bid to Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated. Resolution is on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Supervisor Trout. Next is Supervisor Property, Finance Assessment and Insurance.
On tonight's agenda is a resolution adopting the 2017 Workman's Comp budget. The committee approved it and referred it to the board for adoption.
Thank you, Supervisor Property. Next is special committees. Anybody have any reports? No. Okay. Chairman's remarks. Tonight we had another resignation from a key employee, Sharon Pitney. We recently found out about the retirement of Beck Birmingham. We're losing a lot of our key employees. All our employees are key, but we're talking senior keys. These are the rudder of the ship. They're the ones that keep the big thing going. It's the people that direct the day-to-day operations. They're going to be tough positions to fill, but we have good people coming up through the ranks, so hopefully we'll be able to fulfill it with like, kind, and quality. And we also have several things that are going. We have the Del Lago, we have the Route 318 sewer project. We fortunately resolved the Seneca Deer Mr. Martin thing. Hopefully that goes well. We have the sharing the sales tax. We have a freight thing we have to discuss. We have a finance department we have to discuss. So we'll be having a lot of meetings, and I appreciate everybody's effort to participate and get involved. And let's keep these things going, and let's bear fruit on some of these things that we're bringing up. Thank you. Next is county chairman's remarks, or county managers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to give a shout out to our facilities director and his staff. Nearly 10 days ago, we had a partial failure of the air conditioning system in our public health building, and it was becoming pretty unbearable there. Closed the week on a Friday. That very next Monday, before our normal show time, Supervisor Stuck and his staff assembled at that building. They took out casement windows, they put plywood partitions in and residential air conditioners, of which the county already owned. So relatively little expense, but a significant improvement to the working environment for both our staff and the patrons of that building. So shout out to them. I'd also like to say briefly, we're in the midst of departmental budgets, and I'm probably through about 2/3 of them. But my experience in my previous county and this experience, I'd just like to thank the departmental, the heads of the departmental budgets, and those who participate in that effort. I'm confident that there's going to be relatively little change to what is coming up from the departmental budgets. So thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. County Attorney?
Nothing particular, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. Next communication, Margaret.
Communications 109 through 121 were received and filed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next is resolution. First one is probably number 14.
Whereas the Finance, Assessment, and Insurance Committees approved the 2017 Workman's Comp budget on July 28, 2015. Whereas the Workers' Comp budget must be filed with the Board of Supervisors by...
Support.
Thank you.
Second. Yeah, motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, Public Works, number 15, Supervisor Trout.
Treasurer authorized to amend 2016 Seneca County Highway budget for increased CHIP paved New York funding.
Support.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Mr. Trout, number 16.
Board of Supervisors accept bid for fleet management services.
Support.
Yeah, motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? Supervisor Lazaro.
I move to table.
Second.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, properly second to table. We vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion?
One of my reasons for wanting to table was I got a phone call, I think yesterday, and the numbers that were presented on the screen weren't the right numbers for Pringle Lake Chrysler. So I think he needs to come here and explain his numbers versus what Mr. Shepherd put on the screen. That's for starters.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, between Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and fleet management, they're apples and oranges. This is a great opportunity to streamline an important part of county government, eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. I think it's a no-brainer.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, the vote is to table the resolution as presented. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Nay. Margaret, roll call.
Supervisor Lazaro,
Yes.
Supervisor Heisen,
Yes.
Supervisor Reynolds,
No.
Supervisor Garlic Lorenzetti,
Yes.
Supervisor Wadhams,
Yes.
Supervisor Davidson,
No.
Supervisor Proudy,
No.
Supervisor Kaiser,
No.
Supervisor Churchill,
Yes.
Supervisor Cronewetter,
No.
Supervisor McGreevy,
No.
Supervisor Westfall,
No.
Supervisor Shipley,
No.
Supervisor Trout,
No.
Okay, it's 350 ayes, 450 nays. So the motion to table is not carried. Now we go back to the original amendment. A resolution, excuse me, for the fleet plan. Any discussion? Yes, sir, Mr. Watts.
I think that
this is being new to the county is, and you got Enterprise, they don't have an office here, they don't pay any taxes here, they don't employ anybody here. The Chrysler dealer, he's got 30 to 40 employees, he's building a whole brand new garage and display in the town of Tyre. He has skin in the game, so to speak, in this county, and I think that he should be given a shot. The difference from what I could see, from what I could read, was the fuel card. If we need to do a fuel card system, that would be your fuel vendor. We should be able to supply that.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my understanding, well, the providers of the service of actually servicing the vehicles will be within Seneca County. So, I just want to point that out.
Supervisor Churchill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'll be voting against this. You know, I've looked at the numbers a little bit more. I'm kind of confused. I thought I saw in that one spreadsheet about the book value of a vehicle after 5 years at 50,000 miles being $2,800. I looked up that vehicle and its book value of $9,000 to $11,000. The savings on average over 5 years was presented on Saturday as being $30,000 if all the stars align. I don't, and that's if all the stars align. So it's not much of a savings. Thirdly, I mean, I think the next thing that comes, if you're going to enter a contract with Enterprise, you're going to have to hire somebody to manage the contract. So the next thing you know, we're hiring somebody at $50,000 a year, and if all the stars align, we're at a loss of $20,000 a year. So I think this, I'm not convinced yet that leasing is the way to go. So I'm certainly going to vote down approving of leasing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Churchill. Mr. Cronenweiler.
I just, I forgot what I was going to say. But I think that the numbers have been explained very well in many meetings. And this county, this board is to save the county money, not to make somebody else money.
Thank you. Supervisor Lorenzetti.
Yes, thank you. I have had mixed emotions on this, and I guess I was all about tabling it because I still have some questions that have went unanswered, and especially not understanding, and I did go to all the meetings, and I did attend the workshop that we had on Saturday, so I tried to understand, but there's still some questions in my mind, and to get into a 5-year contract without me knowing everything, I just feel that I'm not going to vote yes, and sorry. I know you did a lot of hard work, Don.
Thank you. Next, Supervisor Ison.
Like I said Saturday morning, this is like the novel The Firm. Once you get into the firm, you can't get out of it. You got to have 5-year savings, and then you're going to be rolling over vehicles. You can't get out of this deal. It's not a good deal. It sounds good up front. Like Steve said, I think we should probably just buy cars or else eliminate some of the cars and have a car pool. Now this is going too quickly. My clunker made it up here again today, my 2006 car, and you talk about pickup trucks. I don't think he wants pickup trucks on a lease because I'm sure they're going to get dinged up and banged up, and then we got to repair them or else we're going to pay on a lease. Buy them or else do a 1-year lease with a company, like a local company, and see how it works out.
Thank you, Supervisor Ison. Anybody else? Supervisor Lazaro.
I originally made the motion to table, so I will be voting no on this. I just think we're doing it too quickly. We need more time to look at the numbers. And if we are in fact looking at apples to oranges, then really look at those apples to oranges and what's the best for us if we want to go this way. We're just expending money again without getting into the meat of it, and I feel we're moving much too quickly on this. So I'm going to vote no on this.
Anybody else? If not, we're voting on supervisors to accept the bid from Fleet Management Services. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Margaret?
Supervisor Trout?
Aye.
Supervisor Shipley?
Yes.
Supervisor Reynolds?
Yes.
Supervisor Garlic Lorenzetti?
No.
Supervisor Wadums?
No.
Supervisor Davidson?
Yes.
Supervisor Proudy?
Yes.
Supervisor Kaiser?
Yes.
Supervisor Lazaro?
No.
Supervisor Churchill?
No.
Supervisor Cronewetter?
Yes.
Supervisor McGreevy?
Yes.
Supervisor Heisen?
No.
Supervisor Westfall?
Yes. 450 ayes, 300 nays, motion carried. Okay, Government Act number 17, Supervisor Lorenzetti.
Supervisors support a FLREDC pursuit of grant funds for the persistence of the George Eastman Museum.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, properly second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next, Human Services number 18, Supervisor Lazaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board of Supervisors directs clerk of the board to advertise for Office of the Aging public hearings.
Support.
There's got a motion on the floor, properly second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Number 19, Supervisor Lazaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Resolution setting salaries of certain individuals at the market rate as provided for in the management salary schedule.
Support. Okay, got a motion on the floor, properly second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next, number 20, Supervisor Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amend Homeland Security FY 2015 Public Safety Answering Point Operations Grant.
Support. Got a motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Churchill.
Is that date 2015 correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's the one we got to bring. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Number 21, Public Health, Supervisor McGreevy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board of Supervisors authorizes and directs county manager to sign a contract with Clean Harbors Environmental Services.
Support.
Got a motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Mr. McGreevy, number 22, Public Health.
Number 22, Board of Supervisors authorizes and directs county manager to sign a service agreement with the S2AY Rural Health Network for FLPHA membership.
Support.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Number 23, Supervisor McGreevy.
Number 23, resolution calling on state and county officials, residents, and business owners to adopt the Think Differently initiative to assist individuals with special needs and their families.
Support. And motion on the floor, properly second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Number 24 on the agenda is unfinished business. Yo.
I don't know if it'd be unfinished business or new business, but the radios that we have, the new system, which is part of that Homeland grant, I believe, I fire called at the outlet mall, grass fire, because of the dry weather. There was a spark out of a transformer. The initial pager went off. Now, I'm probably 3 miles from where the tower is, and that was it. And for the amount of trouble this has been, and the amount of money we have spent, I'll bet we probably could have given every fireman that was on call a cell phone and done it cheaper. The problem with Junius is they have directional antennas. And it doesn't, the directional antenna would have to sit on the very edge of the town. That sits just up there in the thruway.
Okay.
You know, this is crazy.
I can speak on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. the tower he's talking about is Burgess Road Tower. Burgess Road Tower had an old antenna on it. We never intended to replace that antenna. The antenna broke. Motorola put up a new antenna, which was a single directional antenna, which actually shoots back into the south end of the county. That's why Junius is having problems. They've already ordered a multi-directional antenna, which will solve this problem. It's on order right now. I don't have an ETA though, but that should solve that issue.
Okay, right back there.
Well, I think it seems like it's gone from one problem to the next problem to the next problem. And I would think that, I know that in the fire department and fire service, there's some guys that are ham radio guys, and a lot of the same systems that we use for the fire service would fall under similar circumstances. You know, you might want to get a hold of the radio guys and have them involved in that.
I can just say this has been going on for the 20 years that I've been.
Well, the old system did work. The new system, if it trips the pager, you get a mountain of static. In fact, the static will come in clearer than the county responds.
I mean, I think that's only an issue because of this antenna. I will say, I mean, law enforcement doesn't have a problem with their radios at all. We're all on UHF. Yes, there's our digital, but digital actually should not work as well as your analog radios. So it might be perhaps that your radios are old as well. That could be a problem.
Okay, why don't you and Roy get together sometime?
Sure.
Maybe you can apply for a grant for the firemen at Junius or pagers. Thank you. Appreciate your response. Okay, any other unfinished business? New business?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Over here.
All right. Yeah, right here. Okay.
I would like to suggest to the Personnel Committee and to our Human Resources person that we look into updating the salary situation for Seneca County employees. It's been quite a while since that's been done, and with the development of the Lago Resort, we could be losing quite a few employees here, hither, thither, and yon, and I'd like to retain some of those maybe if we could by going through some kind of a study. It was called an Amtech study years ago. I don't know if that's the proper terminology used again or not, but I think the committee should look into it.
Okay, we will at our next committee meeting start discussing that. That's very good.
I think it's very important, but we can lose real good, well-trained people, you know.
Okay.
We can't afford that, you know.
I hear what you're saying. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're welcome. My pleasure. We're here to serve.
Thank you, Supervisor Davis.
Mr. Shipley, you wish to comment?
Well, I'll go back on this situation as far as salary schedule. It's good that this be looked at early in the budget season so that we can plan accordingly. The other issue that I wanted to bring up was Lago has been mentioned a couple times tonight, and just to let you know, they would like to attend our September board meeting and do a presentation of what's going on, where they stand, and their construction schedule. So get all your questions together and you'll have a shot at them in September. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, we had an earlier meeting for an executive session. I'd like to continue that executive session. How can I go about that? Need a motion to go into an executive session to discuss.
Before you go into executive session, I had one under new business.
Oh, okay.
I heard during the enterprise discussion the word waste, fraud, and abuse. Those are serious allegations that supposedly there's been waste, fraud, and abuse in our card purchases or use of cards. If that's true, I'd like a report. And if it's not true, I'd like it to be cleared up. Those are serious allegations.
In the past, there was a situation.
In the past, well, it sounds like it's in the present time. I don't believe it is. And I think it should be.
Okay, we'll check it out and we'll get back to you.
And I'm serious, I would like a report on it.
Okay, we can do that. You got that, Mr. Shepherd?
I do, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Now.
Motion to enter executive session.
Motion to enter executive session.
It will be under section 105(1)(f), Public Officers Law. The purpose would be to discuss matters leading to the appointment of a person.
Okay, the president would like to have the members of the Board of Supervisors, the county attorney, the county personnel director, and the county treasurer, and the county manager.
So moved.
Yes, sir, Mr. David.
Expect to take any
I
action?
got a case of the croak there.
I don't think there's going to be any action taken.
No action, no action.
Need a second.
Need a second on the motion. Got a motion, second. Any discussion?
Trying to get my niece there, not really.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help coming.